Just first, we talked about it a little bit downstairs, but how did you get involved with Project Angel?
Gosh, I remember it was a friend of mine. It was back in like 89, 90.
Wow.
I mean, so yes, it's coming up for 30 years, their 30-year anniversary. Wow. But who knew? And so I'll be serving the 12th millionth meal today, which is quite extraordinary.
How does that feel to know that you will be marking a milestone for them and serving the 12 millionth meal?
Well, I think it's such an honour, really. I mean, we've been involved with feeding the homeless, and so it's another kind of thing that we're passionate about every week for 13 years from Villa Blanca. Mm-hmm. So it's something that about giving back to the community, and these people have just done it so well because they're the lifeline to people at home that have terminal illnesses. It started off, as kind of working with people with AIDS, and it's just a wonderful organisation. And I think to draw attention to it is, something that I can do, and it kind of relies on volunteers. So it's very important.
Where did that altruistic spirit come from? We were talking again. I mean, my family, my mother's been serving the homeless my whole life, so it's what I saw growing up. So I always felt like it was part of a pull to me. But where did that come from?
I think it came, I've been married since I'm 21, and I just, even though we worked very hard and nobody ever gave us anything, we felt very fortunate and very kind of privileged. And in London, we started kind of a life of philanthropy and altruism, just getting involved with things that, we were passionate about. And also I use the word celebrity loosely because, what am I kind of well known?
You're a celebrity, Lisa.
No, but for what?
We're just going to claim that for today's conversation.
Okay, but I think there comes a certain responsibility with it. And, in these days of negativity, and it's just something, I'm about being positive. I've had a lot of negativity in my life of the last year, and I really am trying to focus on the good that people can do and bring to the world, and working with my own foundation, with the dogs and the 501c3 that we've created brings me a lot of pleasure. And I think people, if they get involved, they will have a feel-good factor about what they've done today, and that's why I encourage people.
Has this been part of what's helped you heal? Because you have had a tough year.
Yeah, losing my brother to suicide was very, very difficult, my only sibling. I really floundered with that, and sometimes you just can't deal, and especially being a restaurateur, you're out in the public eye and being on television. It was very difficult. And then I just lost my mother, just a couple of weeks ago. So her funeral was last week, so I just came back from England. But, that's life, and we all have to deal with loss in our life. And it's about kind of moving forward and remembering the good times, I think. But also, I do think philanthropy and really giving back is almost like a kind of selfish thing because it makes you feel good about yourself,
I remember hearing you say that you reached out for help when your brother passed away.
Yeah.
I found that particularly interesting because we look at you as the stronger, larger than life, nothing, unflappable woman that you are.
God,
it's true. That's how we see you on television. So to hear you be vulnerable and say, I had to get some help.
Well, I just, I'd never really taken antidepressants. I'd never been to therapy. But there comes a time, in your life, I think, where sometimes you might just need a little help just to kind of get over the bump in life, so to speak. And losing like a sibling to suicide, I'd been involved with the Trevor Project, the suicide prevention. I never thought that would touch my life. And so sometimes it's okay to say, I'm having a tough time, and to see a grief counsellor, or it was really helpful. But I'm not somebody that sits around. I'm very proactive and keep myself very busy, and I think that's a huge part of moving forward.
I don't want to get into the minutia of everything that happened in the Housewives seasons. No, I'm not going to get into the minutia. But I will say, if I'm being honest, because I am a viewer too. I'm interviewing you today, but I watch it. I'm a religious watcher of the show. It was a big surprise to me to see you walk away. It's something I thought I would never see. When it's all sat with you now, do you still feel like that was the right thing to do? Do you have any regrets about that?
No regrets. No. It was the best thing for me at that time. I felt that I wasn't doing well kind of emotionally myself, and I wasn't as equipped. And I mean, I've sat at reunions. This would have been the third reunion where the whole cast has been against me. I've dealt with that and sat there for 10 hours. But this was just a different year. And I was opening a restaurant. I was opening in Vegas. I was doing Vanderpump Rules. I was trying to get over the loss of my brother. I was, I just floundered, and they just all kept coming at me. And it just became too much.
I was going to say, is that what it was? Because you would hear the ladies always say, well, she's been in this situation before. What's different now? Like, what's...
Well, my life was different. And I think sometimes life-defining moments, and especially when you lose somebody, like your only sibling, maybe, changed everything. For me, it's.
Priorities shift, and you say, this is like, doesn't even compare to what's really happening with me, so I'm not even going to deal with it.
I think so, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it's just a shift, and, at that time I needed support, and it wasn't there.
Yeah.
And I think that, I was busy. I was stretched in all directions, opening Tom Tom here, opening Vegas, doing Vanderpump Rules, and all those things, and trying to deal with myself, emotionally, kind of trying to heal. It just became very difficult, and I just said, okay, that's enough. I don't regret it at all, not at all.
I've heard Andy say...
What I regret is the fact that my exit wasn't as positive as some of the wonderful moments I've had on the show. But, sometimes it's just what life throws at you, isn't it?
I've heard Andy say the door's always open for you to come back. Would you?
It's too soon to even discuss that.
I've
only just kind of closed the door. So, Vanderpump Rules is going gangbusters, and it's a wonderful show, and I really enjoy being an EP on that. And I love all the kids, watching them grow up and seeing them and helping them with their struggles. And I just hope that I can be to them, what I needed when I was struggling, because we've seen Jax has lost, his father, and we've seen Lala and, all these kind of things that they go through, and sometimes they need that support. And I think, in life, we all screw up, we all make mistakes, and it's how we learn from it,
For sure.
I want to be really clear about this, because there's a lot of negativity, about this whole Housewives situation, but I've really had an amazing time. Bravo have been incredible to me, and I don't want to see them bashed for anything, because it's given me incredible platforms to do wonderful things, and I'm very thankful for that.
I know you said you weren't watching the season. The only thing you watched was anything. That monumental argument with you and Kyle. So you didn't see part 1 of the reunion at all. Did you hear about them kind of bestowing the Queen of Beverly Hills tag upon Kyle, that she is now the, I guess, real queen of the Real Housewives?
To me that seems like a little ridiculous, because there shouldn't be a queen. It's an ensemble cast. If the audience choose who they want to name a queen, that's fine.
Yes, but if we're being honest, that for many years you were thought of as the queen of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
I think the show was great when Kyle and I were great together, but she chose to change that, and that's fine.
That's what still sticks with me, Lisa, if I'm being honest with you. I know you guys went through something, but the show was at its peak when you and Kyle were together, having a great time, giggling,
would never have changed
being
that.
cheeky.
I would never have changed
some of the most fun television that we've seen.
I would never have changed that, but that's done, and this is now.